Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today's video is going to be about painting the interior and what that took, and there's a little sneak peek of the color there. And then we're going to go over the great mystery of why my spar in the back of my wing is going to be in front of the rear attachment bracket instead of behind it. And we'll get to the bottom of that and what the future looks like. And then if we're going to also talk a little bit about assembly, or we're going to actually start doing some assembly. So that's exciting to me. So if you're interested in any of that, stick around. Well, this started out like any other project, just sanding out the imperfections and Scotch-Briting the whole thing. But because there's so many nooks and crannies, it's quite difficult to get done, and the rivets. So it's my first experience with going around rivets and prepping, and it's not like doing the exterior of a car at all. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever painted in my life to get a good job done. In the end, it was an acceptable job because of the difficulties. The first difficulty I had was that tiny gun I had sprays really nice, and it's very handy to reach into tight areas, but it doesn't have a bagged cup that you can paint actually upside down with without dripping. It has a vent. I tried several different things to try to keep it from dripping, but it did drip inside, which I'm going to have pads in the bottom where it dripped, so no big deal. I ended up taking a rag and just dabbing it and continuing. But that said, I did change over to the other gun that's bagged because it was just too difficult to keep it from dripping. And even though I really liked the way it sprayed. Got the gunmetal, it's a light gunmetal gray on, and it's not perfect, but it's acceptable. And reaching in the back and trying to paint the ceiling and both sides, because my arms aren't very long, was really probably the hardest thing I've ever done as far as painting goes. It's so difficult to get all the angles, and you can't get up underneath those rails in the front, the strengthening bars on the sides there. You can kind of shoot up under them, but without it was just so difficult. But it's painted, it's acceptable, and now I get to start assembling the front end, which is great.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I'll try anyway. Boy, I'll tell you, if you got a chance to paint all this stuff and then rivet it together, it is so hard to paint up in there. Kept touching things with my gun. Oh, man. Anyway, I got about 2 quarts in it, and there's little mistakes where the gun drips, but I'm going to put flooring there. There's a spot right there, as you can see, but I'm going to have flooring in there, and there's a drip in the back, but there's nothing I can do but dab it up and keep going. So I kind of like it. It's almost like a very light gunmetal. It's almost got a purplish hue in it. This stuff's separate. We'll see if it matches, but it probably won't because they're painted at different times and different humidities, and the silver's that way. But it'll be a nice way to go.
Well, now that it has dried and for quite a few days, I get to finally put the cage on. I finally got to the bottom, I think, of what was going on with the bracket, the doubler on the top. If you ever get sent one of those, just double check with the factory that they were supposed to send that to you and that you were having an issue with the frame fitting the way it was. I think it was accidentally sent to me is what we come up with Rudder, and that when I first asked them about why that was sent to me, he said it was to correct a hole that was misdrilled in the frame. But I had no idea at the time that we were going to put the bracket in front instead of the back by doing it this way. I thought that was how it was supposed to be. But as it went, it snowballed a little. So the distance here, you'll see later in my other videos that the distance here is just a little bit longer, 3/8 of an inch. So I had to get another piece of stock to change the door and get that fitting properly. But these angles, that angle, this angle, and that angle didn't change at all. But this one did. It slightly opened up. I mean, very slightly. It's so, you saw in the other videos how much I had to take off that to square it up to it. And where the motor mount hits, I've already assembled all this, and the 80 degrees here, that fits right where it was supposed to, even though it came forward. It might have dropped down a hair. I discussed that with, I discussed this with Roger, and I said, you know, it came down more than up or forward because it's on such a steep angle. And he assured me that, you know, it's supposed to be drilled right in the center, but if it's a little bit off center, the edge distance on this is so huge that it's not going to matter at all, and it's going to work out great. So that said, it's gray. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever painted in my life. I'll tell you, truthfully, it was, man, getting in there, around, trying to get in around all the different little corners. And after a while, I didn't know how it was going to come out. It isn't great, but it is painted. So the great part is I get to start assembling, and man, there's nothing better, no better feeling than assembling. So I've got the rudder pedals all up here. They're down there. I think they're down there in the rack, or down there on the table. So I'm going to start assembling them. These are my little brackets that I put in here that I don't think anybody else has done. They might not do a lot. I like them. But I put a little Teflon tape on here. They do clear. I don't want them rubbing on this side. So I also Teflon tape the side that's closest to it. And all the clearances are looking good. And I get to start putting in the rudders now, rudder pedals. So now I get to start riveting these L angles on. So there's nothing better than assembling. I just love it. The only thing I wished I would have done different here is probably put this 90-degree angle. Once it's completely drilled and ready to rock and roll, you can rivet this off while the frame is sitting on the floor. That might be easier. You get a little bit of clearance issues here, but not terrible. No, we got them all, so maybe that's not that big a deal. I do like to have that little angle ground off there. It's for clearance. I wonder what the strength of these are. If you were to like take it upon yourself to weld this through the holes and make spot welds. Just needed to be persuaded a little. Voila! Just a quick reminder that these are stainless steel and this is aluminum. So I don't know how, I know how regular steel is, carbon steel is, wanting to do the electrolysis corrosion. But so I'm going to double up on my primer on these. And I've touched it all up around them again, and I'm going to dip the rivets itself in it. Being fussy. Time for my rivet wiggler. What's what they needed? A gentle persuasion. That's why I don't do that clearance drill thing. that could have got really frustrating, but just getting that one in now is making these go so much better, as you can see. I know clearance drilling is necessary, but I think it's just absolute last resort. Yeah, in today's video, I've assumed things are right a lot of times, and they don't bite you in the butt, and I try to double check everything. And I think that's the last time I'm ever going to talk about that. It's behind me now. We're moving forward. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sand the edges up just to clean them up slightly and radius the edges. But I'm not going to do like Mark did and do a polish job on these parts, even though I just love that. It's gorgeous, but I don't see myself going in there with Fritz later and cleaning it. So I'm going to use that. On this, we're always going to use a Scotch-Brite and just clean it with that and have that polished look. But yeah, I get to install this. Can't wait. For those who don't know, this is the lower bracket that retains the bearing for the steering, the front nose wheel. Lower bearing support. Okay, one more step done. The 90's bolted in. Okay, that L-lane grill is done. It's torqued to specs, and that little extra bracket that I made is below. And if you see the Teflon tape around it, in case it moves a little right and left, I didn't want it touching that. There is an airspace still between there. There, now you can see that there is still light between those. Even with the Teflon tape, I don't want it wearing into the longeron. One thing I regret doing, and make a mental note of this if you haven't built your firewall yet, is this it's completely put together and ready to install on the front now. And it's all been drilled and cleaned up and ready to go. But I didn't notice ahead of time that these 4 bolts, because of that lower attachment bracket, need to be expanded. I didn't notice that. I did drill them out. They're ready to roll, but it's hard to clean out anything that gets between these 2 layers now. So just make a mental note of that so that you don't run into that, and get these both sized up before you rivet them together and get them denibbed. Well, here goes nothing. Man, this is just like my 4th take. I can't quite get this right, so bear with me. We all love fitting our parts and getting them to come out right. And when we get to the stage where we start to bolt things up, it's really exciting and rewarding as all get out. This was a little scary. I'm so glad that I finally got it behind me. We've got really good conversations. I know it's 100% good. We're moving safely forward, and it isn't going to change enough to matter, except that I get bigger doors than you guys. And I'm so glad to have the rudder pedals in. I did that before we put the firewall on just for ease of access. It was very nice riveting that way instead of reaching over. We're going to do the motor mounts next on the interior and get the firewall fastened up and sealed for fire. So if you don't want to miss any of that, subscribe and like if you did, and I will see you in the next one.